isikate dingola ya fana to pato ye bungo nyi lo nyawo kangola kan
ani ninge suti andi jela mbira do morol fana to poto la nyame yaw fana yitandi na jan bawo mol nata kan o do morol de da nyaay tandina nyanta kala nyamani ba tankan la nyame pour di no le jata kende asoto.
What we did was to support, to alleviate that suffering by creating a structure, what we call babysitting houses, in the rice fields, so that will make access to their babies closer. And normally the baby and the mother are exposed to hardships as well. The baby is exposed to the hostile environment, the hot burning sun, rainwater, and all those things. And sometimes if the baby is on the mother's back and the mother is walking, the mother may be tempted to kind of clear somewhere where the baby can be seated, of course with a babysitter. But those things also expose the baby to reptiles and some other things like snakes.
It's amazing how just a pathway through the rice fields has opened up hectares after hectare of land for the women to plant their rice. When I was up doing a monitoring visit, we had just over 2 kilometers of causeway that had been built, and at that time 7 of 14 bridges had been completed, and it really has opened up the area so that the women can now have breakfast with their family in the morning and walk out to the areas that they're planting and weeding the rice and come back.
Each of these villages has a causeway and bridge management committees, or we call the maintenance structure maintenance committee, that is looking at the sustainability aspect of the project.
In addition to that, we know from the reports we're getting now that the yield from the planted rice has been much higher, and so the women will have more money to spend on other things other than having to buy imported rice.
Ninga de maro so talibul membe o kafunda na kotake ka wala nginen kali bulu bari sayi ngon na balunya wo kolya membe o kan nundo o nin atra muamu sayi lulo le benkan
ha nin na mano soto siata ntala flengi na pour do modoro bo isi mano tano le ya wafi isi dino la karam ngol joje ye lonkil keje e ku ko tangol keje ni depansol ol beske no mano la kol konal ni atara dulal membe mbul mel yalon koy bes do ko ni ngawdo ko soto ndolte mano san mobulu mba do mo la lembe mbul lamba wafila.
Focuses on improving livelihoods. It's actually the key element of the sustainable livelihoods element in the grantees. The knock-on effect with improved food production has then led to improved quality of life. In terms of income generation itself, at this point we're not able to see that. We've seen the increase in terms of food production and access to land, but the knock-on effect will come in due course.
We have been working with supporting Gamkutra, and I recently spent some time up in Central River region with them, and it's not a new approach because it has elements of the Stepping Stones approach, but they use sexual and reproductive health as their entry point, and they look at the health and safety of the girl child and the woman. Once they've done a good sensitization on that, then they start looking at what can be some of the dangers and the difficulties that women face. And of course, female genital mutilation, female cutting, is an area that's very, very sensitive. And I think GAMCO-TRAP handle it very, very well by identifying the difficulties that young girls face.
First time you give me no animal, but second time after me that I'm janga kaitaji.
Sigaro bes na joli. Dula ko anabe hada yinne yam hada tampa. Joni mi den jebe ganduda hore ma ko jol fu be wobbe. Be jahani dum be. Ben jibin ko mabbe hay goto tinata. Be kebani min jafe jafe. Milen non ko buri ko hew. Min yillete do bansang en, banjul en, min bado opareji.
Eko wona sunna ko aadi ko jangidi men ko biya ko ittugol nyaw wada cellal pour yagol ngol dewal sare min nani dum min jabi
ya kenal bantu dingo dingo tanya ka dum ngamanturo yiyel komi nyaka ta adi mo fam ni ba sambal nyaka ala wulu fanam problem hanna be kuro de law dem problem ot andun te wojel sila ntema bi ante dingo bitala atita.
It's a very holistic approach. They don't go in preaching, they give information, they educate, and then decisions are made by the communities themselves.
We have supported GAMCO-TRAP with Zero Tolerance, which was the 6th of February, that linked in to the international scene with regards to human rights and supporting the rights of women and children in particular.
You have communities that were about to collapse because they didn't have access to clean water. A community that had been there for 80, 100 years, a big family community.
We had series of problems, series of consultation with the communities on their needs and aspirations, and then we found out that there was acute shortage of water. So we did water rehabilitation in 10 communities, and then realized that these facilities have significantly helped the communities.
I'm content bakele I'm nafa. Kandu ke okala katakuwa ke barbata mume belari mpola. Kola ka jebi e tabiro ke e kuro ke.
Sergese ni jayi bak. Ndola nyim pompo panitale. Karusaba jebi ka bije nyenta do kula kodo la man kodo so. Okono local kolon dole bi jang dinul kata musolu kata jebi je dinul kata jebi. Ko amanyi nyata sinan dole fena yin bedada ni son son kat dole fon be boyta e bulo ko da ya be wuli nyata be to foto yin bekete nyata ya maro dinna ko alse muta lungolum alika to foto ay senea ndal sa muta ku ko e nyin kolongo atolle la nafa mun dole min nga do kun dole tande atolle la nafa lo alisa muta ku akana tinya
bari on folo biri nyim pompo tinyata ani toro warta kambak nim pompo tinya de meko
oto baje ela may bang non na bla ni ajabe kumbo mu ci muso e biya mo kuma sa kumbota adinke folo jiko nyim pompo la tinya kolea wala ni sababu bala wala kata sababu ta wadinke folo fa
So it's wonderful to see how a small amount of money can save a community from having to break up.
Now they have clean water. Their, hand pump well was repaired by the project, and they are quite happy.
There are a number of communities who were struggling to meet the sanitary needs, and St Joseph's Family Farm is an organisation that's in touch with its communities, and when there was a call for proposals, they already had communities that had been reaching out to them and saying, please help us, we need these services.
We did pit latrine construction in 10 refugee host communities as well, to kind of ease the problem of sanitation.
Family Farm and Fana Oli Yakuba Mane. Najol Ajukoli Babe Wuli Burum. Na Kiamuna Bugala Bololi. The government Bugala Bololi Bujupa Pofam. Follow. Ubay to Kema. Kamaki Ram in the Muelia Yoya. There are 2 Yajunya Babu 2 with 2 days to come. And New York Kanka will contact Yamuk, Sumuk.
In Atawato Menaja. Ini bulu kensemol le nata. Come on. Boso totale afele. Emelon ko momo ya jube dorong di kontanita.
We have the umbrella theme of governance and human rights. And the governance element has come through very strongly with regards to women in government and in the governance structures, whether it's traditional or local.
The work that has been done by Concern Universal, looking at their involvement at the local councils, has been focusing on women. Not in isolation, work has been done with men. It's important that women feel that their voices are heard.
The program, as I said earlier on, is geared towards supporting regional structures, mainly area councils, to see how best one can look at the possibility of increasing women's participation in local government council decision-making body. Because what we have realized is that in the 4 regional councils, that's North Bank region, Lower River region, Central River region, and Upper River region, in all these regional councils, they all have only 1 woman elected as a councillor. All the rest are male, and all the 4 regions have established a gender action team comprising 15 people, male and female.
Green Gag started in Santimu. Ngadoku Jamaleke because Biri Yenta Yen Sambale Yankarandi. After Okarang, Fanal Tatal in Nasate Olto, na Wodol Kang. Ngana opinion leader Sol Kumandin, Kantiolo, Anim Melia Longo, Ni Kumata Mol Sata, Mfanali will follow Karandi. Nye karandi menna wala musol la nyanto ani musol la tanyato ani musol sitarano nyaadi le kankuntu dulat biri nga nyi sensitization ka nin santem farindil balaketa boyatin le bi mbente mbo men kono bi nyi area council nala albe musu candidate men jelaje is going to be uncountable.
The trend is changing. This is no more the usual business. In fact, men are out to support women to take up their initiative as far as national development is concerned.
In Japan, last parliamentary, in context, because selection auto Alan attack manta. Bonko alale ko itentala. Still no determination also. Local government. Mbita adum bajira ko mbije adum tarta jele. Nyen silo isi musu nanga mumoy mel fintida mel pareta fintila isi musul moy ibe surprise la musul pareta I pareta.
And the other activity we also included in the project is to visit our sister country, Senegal, to look at what structures do they have in the area councils, and how are women embraced in the councils? What can we learn from them so that when we come back, the General Action Team will work with the other councils and the Technical Advisory Committee to look at what strategy they can also use to promote women representation in the councils.
Ntata kaula ngaje membe kering kaula hunkol man kukule nukuntulma nga politiko kacha nga jata kende ya kacha nga karambu kacha nga nabalu kacha anin na nyanto memu na la sa musoli kango sotole ikanyi mem foten ka foko musol kasila wo mu kunun neti bari bi atalata bakele nsafo 99% or 100% niya jube dawoda di 75% bebe tembo mento bi musudingo bebe hammering ibebe kuninding ibebe fahamuring ibebe parering nali enkili dawoda mbaldan kunnale no retreat no surrender.
The reason for us to visit that region was for us to learn how Senegal was able to reach that level of women involvement in politics, especially at the council area. And from there, we sat and at least scrutinized all the avenues and the strategies they have put in place. And now we are trying to pick what suits our situation, because it's a learning experience for us.
In the project proposal development, we tried to see that each project linked in with local government and existing community groups and structures at the local level, so that the dynamics led to a synergy in terms of the actions going forward. But at each level, I think it's been clearly demonstrated that women have had a part, that they've taken initiative and moved certain elements forward. I think that often there is conflict where there is stress, overburden. For example, if you've got a long queue for water and you're waiting and you've got other things that you need to do, where they're not involved in a decision that impacts on themselves, where they don't have facilities to care for their children.